They called it the Whispering Jungle, and for good reason. Not because of the wind rustling through the canopy, or the chattering of unseen monkeys. No, this jungle whispered secrets. Ancient secrets. My grandfather, a cartographer with more thirst for adventure than sense, had vanished in its depths 20 years ago. All he left behind was a tattered journal filled with cryptic maps and one recurring phrase, "Where the river weeps, the sunstone sleeps." For years, that phrase was my lullaby, my obsession. Now, with his journal in my pack and a compass in my hand, I was finally here, standing at the edge of that emerald abyss. The air was thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers I couldn't name. The first few days were a battle against the elements. Thorny vines snagged at my clothes. Strange insects buzzed incessantly, and the humidity was a constant, suffocating blanket. I followed the river, the lifeblood of this jungle. The maps in the journal were less about geography and more about landmarks only a poet would recognize: the jaguar's tooth, a jagged rock formation, the serpent's spine, a winding ridge. I was navigating a legend, not a landscape. On the fifth day, the jungle's whispers grew louder. It started as a faint murmur, almost like a distant waterfall. As I pushed deeper, the sound became clearer, a soft, sorrowful hum. Then I saw it, a towering cliff face, veiled by a curtain of water that didn't crash or roar, but trickled down its surface like tears. Where the river weeps, I had found it. My heart hammered against my ribs. According to the journal, the entrance to the Sunstone's chamber was hidden behind this weeping wall, and would only reveal itself at dusk. I set up a small camp and waited. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery oranges and purples, the magic happened. The light filtered through the falling water, refracting and splitting into 1,000 rainbows. And right in the center, a section of the rock face began to glow with a soft, golden light, outlining a perfect archway that hadn't been there moments before. Taking a deep breath, I stepped through the watery veil and into the darkness beyond. Inside, the air was cool and still. My headlamp cut a beam through the gloom, revealing a tunnel carved from the living rock. The walls were smooth, covered in intricate carvings that told the story of a long-lost civilization that worshipped the sun. I followed the tunnel as it sloped gently downward, the humming sound growing stronger with every step. Finally, I emerged into a vast cavern, and in the center, resting on a pedestal of black obsidian, was the Sunstone. It wasn't just a rock, it pulsed with an internal, warm light, bathing the entire cavern in a golden glow. It was beautiful, alive. As I reached out to touch it, my fingers brushed against something else on the pedestal. Another journal, my grandfather's final entry. He wrote that he had found the Sunstone, but realized it didn't belong to the outside world. It was the heart of the jungle, and to remove it would be to silence its whispers forever. He chose to stay, to become its guardian. He hadn't been lost, he had been found. As I stood there, bathed in the stone's warm light, I understood. I closed the journal, leaving it where it lay, next to the stone. My quest for treasure was over, but my real adventure, understanding his legacy, had just begun. I turned and walked back toward the weeping wall, leaving the Sunstone to sleep, its secrets safe, its whispers echoing in my heart. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this adventure, make sure to follow for more tales from the wild.